Hello, hello! Welcome back to another episode of Emma Explores Everything. Kind of like Adam ruins everything, except I'm not so fucking angry all the time. um, I've been watching some of his YouTube videos. Well, not by choice. My boyfriend has been watching them and driving me crazy with them, but anyway, let's get back to it. I'm being a little bit dramatic this week already, getting into it, because this week's topic is drama. Drama. And this is going to be a twofold topic about not only drama as in causing drama, causing problems, causing fights, and my history in the drama club in high school. So I'm excited. Let's get started. So, drama. We love it. We hate it. I truly think we can't live without it. I am in a point in my life where I try to avoid drama. But before we get there, I think we have to take it back, because I haven't always been this perfect angelic creature that I am now. So, man, we're going to get deep, like I always do in these podcasts, and go back to childhood. I was an only child. I have some half-siblings, but for a long time, it was just me. So, I spent a lot of times hanging out with the adults. And what were the adults always doing when I was hanging out with them? They were gossiping about each other. And I loved it. I loved being able to hear all of these hot topics, be one of them, and just soak it all in. So I think that kind of got me started on liking a little bit of the drama, on thriving on the drama. And then when I got into, I'd say, late elementary school, early middle school, I started reading a certain subset of books. Now, my whole life, I always was a really avid reader from the time I could read up until they ruined reading for me in high school. I always had my nose in a book. So once I started getting that age where, socializing and your status is really important to you and you think everybody's judging you, aka the hell that is puberty, I was reading like the Click books. I was reading, I can't even remember the name of all of these books, like these Academy books. And it was all basically the same thing, where like the main character was not so cool, but somehow she ended up with the cool people and like trying to fit in with their group. And it was funny, because I think the point of the books were showing how bad that mindset is of like cool people and elites and blah blah blah. But I wasn't really comprehending that. At the same time, I think this was about when Mean Girls came out. Mean Girls was huge. So, Mean Girls was huge, and then a few years later, Gossip Girl came out on TV, and I had already been reading the Gossip Girl books, and then Gossip Girl came out on TV, and I'm gonna tell you guys the most embarrassing secret that I barely tell anybody. I only tell the people that I truly trust this story. I had been reading all those books for my whole, adolescence. And I decided, why not make a burn book? Why not make a Gossip Girl? Why not start a MySpace blog about my middle school? Guys, I do not know what was going through my brain. I don't know. I don't know. Why would I do that? And of course, this is going to be such a stupid story. It started out really innocent, right? Like, it was basically like my lunch table. I would listen in on my lunch table, and it would be like, oh, cheerleading practice got canceled today. And I would hear that, and I would write it on the blog. And so, like, people started to get, like, a little bit curious about it. And, but it wasn't, like, that big of a deal. I think somebody, like, a boy came by and, like, poked a girl and, like, bothered her and made a comment like, oh, like, I bet you're not even shaving your legs yet. Something stupid, like how dumb middle school boys always pick on girls that they like. And I wrote about it. And that was, like, the first one that, like, really took off. And I remember my best friend at the time, who shall remain nameless, Brittany. She came to me and she was like, oh my God, can you believe this blog? Like, it's so crazy. Like, I can't believe there's a MySpace blog about our middle school. And I was like, okay, girl, let me tell you a little secret. I am the one that's been writing it. And she was like, no way. And I was like, no, here, look, here's my login credentials. Look at it. And she was like, wow, this is crazy. Oh my God, can I help you with it? Can I like write some blogs? And I'm like, sure, why not? You're my best friend and I trust you, and I don't think that you would do anything crazy. Famous last words, right? Famous last words. Whereas I had been writing observations, and I don't want to defend myself and say that I was, like, innocent. I should not have been doing this. It was the dumbest, most juvenile thing I've ever done in my life, and I seriously still wake up in, like, cold sweats thinking about this to this day. I feel so guilty about it. But I was writing the truth, you know? I wasn't writing heinous stuff. She got on there, and it went from tidbits that I overheard at the lunch table to so-and-so is a nasty... I don't know what I can say on YouTube. Lots of expletives, lots of rumors, lots of things that were just straight up not true. And so people were getting mad. And I mean mad. Like, it was all that I heard about walking in the hallway between classes, at lunch. Like, it was crazy. It really popped off and got crazy. And I just remember being like, this is not what I signed up for. I'm just going to stop. I'm not going to have anything else to do with it. Like, this can be her thing, whatever. But I don't even know what happened. But I remember coming to school one day and lining up to go into class, and everybody was looking at me. And they were looking at me in a way that, one, nobody had ever paid attention to me before. I was a wallflower. I was very shy. I stuck to myself. And they were just staring at me, and they were mad. And finally, one of them was like, why are you writing all that stuff about us? Why did you say this about me? And of course, I hadn't even been keeping up with what was been said. I was like, I didn't. I don't know. And they were like, I'm dropping shit. Sorry, audio listeners. You're just hearing me smash stuff around. This is super professional. Why would you even think that I said that about you? Girl, who I don't remember your name. And she was like, well, Brittany told me, and you guys are like best friends. She told me that you have been the one writing all of this. So I never spoke to Brittany again after this, so I don't really know what her mindset was, why she would throw me under the bus to maybe be cool. I think she was just starting to, she'd started cheerleading, which where I went to school in the South, it was the cheerleaders and the football players that were really cool. It was very cliche and lame, but she had started in that world, and I think maybe she just wanted a way to fit in. Maybe she needed, she wanted to be the one that knew who was writing it. And, now I don't have any hard feelings against her, but I will say I really was betrayed, and I really did not understand why me? Why throw me under the bus like that? But I think as an adult, it was a little bit karma, because I did start the blog. I did write things that people might not have wanted me to put on there. So maybe I deserved it at the end of the day. But there was a little bit at school where it was rough. People did not like me very much. But I never admitted to it being me. And then another blog came out. Same concept. It was like blank middle school, Gossip Girl or something like that. And it was even more heinous than mine was. So that got everybody distracted. And then it came out who was really writing that. And it just kind of passed on over me. And I think even somebody was like, hey, like, I realized, it was this girl, the New Girls blog, it was her the whole time. So I'm really sorry that I even accused you. And me at the time, I was like, that's okay. Like, I totally did not admit that I had been the one to start it, but I don't know. Could you blame me? Middle school is rough. So I think that whole experience was like a really big lesson for me, because it did not give me this sense of power that I wanted. It did not make me cool. It did not make me feel good. It ruined my reputation even more than it had already been as the shy, quiet girl. It made people not want to talk to me anymore. So it really was unwise and unkind. And so I survived middle school and went into high school kind of with a whole different mindset, and to this day, I really stay out of it. I don't really engage with people who are obsessed with the drama, who are obsessed with being the victim of drama, especially. And, it's definitely been hard, especially on the internet, where when I tell you, there is always, always, always drama. Always. Especially in the industry that I am, there's always somebody running their mouth. But I truly try to stay out of it, because I see no advantage. I see no advantage to going online and saying nasty things to people. Like, I don't think that makes, like, you guys like me anymore. I've never gone online and seen somebody shit talking and been like, you know what, I want to subscribe to her OnlyFans. It doesn't make any sense to me. And I always go back to, like, the look on people's faces when they realize it was me talking about them, and, like, that betrayal, and I just think I don't want to be that person. I don't. It feels very juvenile. It feels very middle school, and I am a grown woman, and I do not need to be doing that anymore. I had my taste, I had my taste. I do sometimes fall into that trap, though, of responding on Twitter. And I think about a year ago today, I think it was 2020, I really decided, stop engaging. Nobody's mind is going to be changed by arguing on the internet. And you're going to just get yourself into situations and arguments that you didn't even mean to get into. I mean, the other day I made a mistake of engaging. Some people were talking, saying some mean things, and I didn't even say anything really at all. I just said, y'all, come on. And the person that they were talking about texted me, and they were like, wow, like, are we good? Like, are we fighting? And it was like another wake up call, like, why am I even commenting on it? Because they didn't know the tone. They didn't know that I was agreeing with them. They didn't know if I was disagreeing with them. They didn't know if I was defending the person. They didn't know if I was throwing the person under the bus. And it could have really hurt a friendship that I hold very dear to me. Somebody that has helped me a lot in this industry, somebody who's always encouraged me. So, I'm not perfect. Every single day I'm learning. I'm trying to be better. I'm trying to be less of an asshole. And I think maybe that's all we can all do, is just every day try to be a little bit less of a jerk. But I do think that experience in middle school with all the gossip led me down the road to enjoying the other type of drama. Because ultimately what I was looking for was like a sense of belonging, a sense of purpose, somewhere where I fit into like the social strata. And so when I got into high school, I was like, well, I'm not going to try to fit in with the cool kids anymore. I'm going to do what I want. And so I took like the intro to drama class at my high school, and I really loved it. I was a big fan of, getting on stage and just being a fool with my friends, improvising and stuff like that. I ended up moving after my freshman year and going to a new high school, so I kind of had to retake that first intro to drama class, and I didn't really love it, but well, whatever. I didn't love the teacher, and it felt weird to be like on that base level again. But my junior year of high school, I really hit my stride in drama. I did some plays where I was in the chorus, singing, whatever, and it just didn't feel right to me at the time to be a performer. I did not have the confidence. And, looking back, it's a little sad that I didn't have the confidence, because I think I could have done really well. But I remember we were going to a competition with a play that we were doing, and we needed a stage manager for the competition. It was just a short little play, not a lot of stuff to keep track of, but we needed an assistant stage manager. And my drama teacher was like, well, this girl sucks. she doesn't have the confidence, but maybe she would be good at doing some backstage stuff. And it turns out I really was. I really enjoyed waiting in the wings, doing calls, making sure everybody had their props and their costumes. So from that moment forward, for the last 2 years of high school, I was, for every show that we did, I was like the main boss. I was like the head bitch. I was in charge of everything, and that felt really good, and it really helped me make friends and become confident that if you just talk to people, they will like you. If you don't just assume that they are not going to like you right off the bat, people are a lot less scary than you realize. It really helped me a lot with social skills, and I really appreciate it a lot. And I found my home in drama, not in performing, but in the backstage stuff. That being said, my senior year, I had a friend, and she was like, I know you can sing. I know you can sing. And I was like, no, I can't sing. I can't do it. And she was like, no, you're going to audition for this show. And at first I was like, no, I don't really want to. But then I was like, you know what? Why not? Why not audition for the last show of the year? It's my senior year. If I mess it up, if it's bad, nobody's going to remember me. So I remember I put a lot of work into this audition, and we would go after school every day and practice in the green rooms. It was a song from a chorus line. I don't really remember. But I ended up getting the solo. Well, it was a trio, but it was like me and the two other girls in my class who had always gotten like the lead female roles. So it was like I went from not performing ever to getting a pretty big part in what I was doing, and it felt very like good and vindicated. And I remember when I went into the audition, and I started singing, like the look on the teachers' faces were like shock. Like, who is this? Who is this person that has been so like in her shell and behind the scenes and is now coming confident with choreo almost, blocking. And, it really boosted me. It really did. But, then again, when it came time to perform on stage, a huge stage fright. I hated it. I freaking blacked out after I got off stage. Like, I was like, this is not for me. I'm never going up there again. I'm never, ever putting myself in a place where people can watch me. I don't want to be observed. I don't want to be seen. I want to go back into my shell. Obviously, I did not stay in my shell, but I still think, even though I felt so scared afterwards, it gave me like a sense of pride, like, oh, I can do this. I'm not just the girl in the background. I can be the girl on stage. I can be the focus. I can be someone that people aspire to. And that was really nice. I actually majored in theater in college, my freshman year. I majored in stage management. So I learned a lot about, lighting. I learned a lot about sound. I did a lot of, construction. So much construction in the shop, and I hated it. I did a lot of Excel spreadsheets. We went to Disney and got to see how they run some of their shows. We went to Cirque du Soleil and saw backstage there. So I kind of, all of these experiences with seeing how the theater side of things has worked gave me this knowledge of, you actually can do these things that people do in entertainment, and it's not actually as difficult or as fancy as you may think it is. That being said, none of this prepared me at all for camera work. None of this prepared me to be sitting in front of you on screen, lighting it's like a whole different world. It's a whole different world. You're doing everything for the people that are far away. You design the stage for the back of the house. On camera, it is me and you right here. I mean, you see everything. And especially these days, it's like people want 4K. People want to watch me on their huge 70-inch flat screen HD TVs with LEDQ, I don't know, HI, JK, LMNOPs. So I will say I was not ready for that part of it. But what it did prepare me for was the acting part of it, I think. And when I say acting, a lot of people would take that as like I'm being not genuine. And I won't say that every single video that I've ever done has been like my genuine self, but it's more of bringing my certain moods and my certain parts of myself out at the right moment, if that makes sense. Like, everything that I do is Emma. It's me. It is how I would react in that situation. It's just, I'm not in that situation, so I have to bring it out. And I feel when I had done, classes in high school, I was a little bit over animated, a little bit overly acting, and I feel now I've really come into my own where it's like, you don't need to act for the back of the house. You need to do the subtleties. What would you really do if somebody said this to you, And I do think being able to observe that in theater, it like gives me an idea of almost like what not to do, weirdly. I don't know. But I do think it's interesting, like, I never, growing up, I didn't think that this would be where I ended up. And especially, like, I was a teacher for several years. I didn't think that I would be using performing ever. But at the same time, as a teacher, I was performing. I was performing all the time. We were singing all the time. I was pretending to be extremely upbeat. Like, it is a role that you play where you're this patient, fun but stern person. So maybe that did prepare me for this entertainment role that I do now. But it is crazy to think, like, I feel like every step of my life has led me here. It has led me to gather the skills that I need to be who I am. And that's really interesting. I never have really thought about it that way before. So, yeah, that's drama and drama. I'm really enjoying doing these episodes. I still need submissions from you guys. Instagram has been hilarious with their recommendations. I'll post like, hey guys, I need recommendations for these letters, and they'll be like, how about this topic that's not any of your letters, or hi from Indonesia. So it's really funny. I've had a little more success on Twitter, but even if I don't get good submissions, it's funny to read through them, so I guess it's all worth it. I will be going to Exotica DC next week. By the time you're listening to this, it will be long gone and done. But I do think my next episode will be talking all about Exotica. So I can't wait to share that with you. Have a lovely day, and thank you for listening to Emma Explores Everything. Bye!